Can you elaborate on clinical nutrition and how that actually like presents itself? Like how do you kind of approach the study of clinical nutrition as maybe a chiropractic student, maybe even a pre-chiro student, just to become aware of like the pathway, the educational pathway that you go down? I know that we're trying to keep it subluxation centered and focused on chiropractic, but you've mentioned clinical nutrition two or three times, and I'm just wondering if you could kind of unpack that for people to understand like what it is, how you practice it, like what is the actual experience of delivering a clinical nutrition service to somebody.
Sure. So I did mention a couple times because it is, again, a secondary passion of mine. We do it in the clinic, but I also have an online weight loss program that's faith-based that I've developed. So that's one entry point. I think if someone's really wanting to look into clinical nutrition as a student, your best starting point is to, when you do your general nutrition classes in chiro school, see if this clicks with you, see if you're passionate about it, see if it resonates, see if you at least understand. You got to at least understand the basics, because you're, as the community healthcare leader, you've got to be able, when your patient comes to you and say, hey, should I eat this or should I eat this? You at least have to have a general understanding of which the body was made to be fueled from and which it wasn't. They're at least looking to you for that. But a lot of times people are getting their health information from the wrong resources. Like they really are thinking that, a frozen Weight Watchers meal or whatever that they cook is in the microwave is as healthy as a salad and a piece of salmon. So you at least have to know the basics of helping them learn, hey, God made food is good, processed food is bad. Those two categories, if you know even that much, you're going to help a certain segment of people. In the office, we dive deeper into the clinical nutrition. We do a lot of testing. We've got gut testing and hormone testing, and those type of initial testing protocols at least give you a starting point for a patient. So that when you're talking clinical nutrition, that's a little more specific. So you're saying, you may start with a symptom survey or whatnot, and the patients at least can identify based on what's going on with them, what category they're going to fall in. Hey, is this a gut issue? Is this, general malnutrition, or is this toxicity? Or is this, hormonal? And then you can begin testing protocols in that area. And then all we basically are doing is, once we get those test results back and we know where the problems are, then we'll recommend either supplementation, or we've got a unit called IHT. It's a bioscan unit. It's frequency retraining. So they may need some of that. If it's allergies, we may run some food sensitivity testing. So we do try to really help them. Once they're going with chiropractic, we do try to also intervene nutritionally and help in any way that we can to support the body's healing or correct, imbalances that have already arisen over the course of time. So that's kind of the clinical nutrition. We do a lot of testing for our testing protocols. Right now, we use Vitalio for a lot of our, blood work, and a lot of our saliva tests. We'll use that, and then we do have some other testing protocols that we use. There's a couple good ones out there, but I think for a student, really just pay attention in those nutrition classes and see what resonates with you. And if you want to dive deeper, usually that's going to be post-grad work, or you can get some specific certifications while you're in school. Do you need them? Probably not. I mean, you can do the basics without that. Nutrition's in your scope of practice in most states. Now, it is in our state, so we dive deep, and you can dive as deep as you want to dive in that. But most of that's going to have to happen post-grad through your own study and research. So if you have a gear towards that, then when you're doing your postgraduate work, your CECs and whatnot, just pick those classes and start to get really good at that. And then if you want to specialize in it, then you'll need a little bit more training, or get with someone who already does that in their practice. Go spend a week with them. Go spend 3-4 days in their clinic and watch what they do and observe and take notes and video them and figure out what's going on there, so that you can see if that's something that you want to implement in your practice. So yeah, I mean, you've got to love what you're doing. on some level, right? And nobody loves maybe paperwork or whatnot, but if you really love helping people, you're probably going to have a natural bent towards wanting to do at least a little bit of nutrition. Now, you may not want to go as deep as I've gone in it, but you might. So yeah, those resources are definitely out there, and there's definitely a way to stay subluxation focused and add these things to an adjunct. It's just if it's who you are, it's going to come out. It's going to come out anyway, and people are going to very clearly see, oh yeah, they believe this first, but they also think this is important, and I'm going to pay attention to that. Now, with my online programs, we don't do as much testing and whatnot, just because a lot of it's online only, and it's group, and it's, I don't. They're from all different states. My clients are, so I don't necessarily do a whole lot of testing with them. But what I do is refer them to someone in their area to have those testing protocols done where they can be properly overseen.